I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit bpn.fm to discover more.
Hi, I'm Melissa Barrera. Welcome to the Theater Podcast with Alan Seals.
Well, hello there. Welcome back to the show. This is the Theater Podcast with Alan Seals, and that is me, Alan Seals. And our guest for this episode is Melissa Barrera, who is a versatile performer whose career has moved from the world of Mexican telenovelas to some of the biggest global franchises in Hollywood. We had a great time diving into her journey, and she shared some of her fantastic behind-the-scenes stories, including the reason she has to turn her back to the audience during Titanique, just so she can laugh at her castmates' antics. And we get into her experience joining the cast of the Titanique family, the reason she flew herself to New York to audition in person instead of staying on Zoom, which is originally what the casting director wanted her to do, and a surprising 60-second plot summary of Cats that involves a very specific theory about furries. Plus, Melissa opens up about the importance of mental resilience in the face of online scrolling and how her mother's example of being the primary breadwinner shaped her own work ethic. So if you've listened before, you know what to do. Find me on socials. Leave a rating, a 5-star review. That would be much appreciated. You can watch the video of this on Spotify and Patreon as always. And now everybody please enjoy this episode with Melissa Barrera.
Here you go. 1, 2, 3.
Our guest today is a versatile powerhouse, period, whose career spans from the vibrant world of Mexican telenovelas to some of the biggest global franchises in Hollywood. She first stole our hearts as Vanessa in the film adaptation of In the Heights, and since has become one of the most versatile faces on screen, surviving the Scream franchise and fighting for her life in the Netflix hit Keep Breathing. I just finished that this morning. Whoa. Okay. She delivered a standout performance, the cult favorite horror romance Your Monster, and is currently leading the #1 Peacock spy thriller, The Copenhagen Test. Beyond her work in film and television, she's a fierce advocate for community empowerment and is currently making her Broadway debut, starring as Rose in Titanique. Melissa Barrera, welcome to the Theater Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are very well. Honor is mine. The honor is mine for you being here. You've had a long and history career. We're getting into the TV and film stuff too, but like as we are recording this, it's the beginning of May. Things are ramping up for award season and whatnot. And like you just made your Broadway debut in one of the biggest shows on Broadway right now. Like what's going on behind the scenes for you?
Oh, I'm just living my little girl dreams. This being on Broadway has always been the #1 thing on my to-do list, on my
Really?
bucket list. Yeah. Since I was probably 12 years old. So this is just, I'm just very happy. And I feel very fortunate that I'm doing my Broadway debut precisely at this moment with this company, with this specific show that is such a joy to be a part of.
It's one of the craziest, the kookiest, craziest casts.
Cookie crazy.
Kooky
yeah.
crazy casts.
Everyone is so unbelievably talented.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yourself included. Do not sell yourself short.
Thank you. But it's a small cast because it's not a very big cast. It's an ensemble cast. We have Marla playing Celine Dion, and the rest of us are just this big ensemble of characters. And this show is like so beautifully written to be just silliness at a time where we desperately need it, I think. It's it's our coming into the St. James Theater to watch Titanique is just feels like a refuge in dark times. And we're all up there having a blast. And everyone gets to shine at a different moment in the show. And I'm just like soaking it all in because I do feel like the stars have aligned for once in my life that, because I'm very proud of all the work that I've done. And I always feel like whether it's TV or film or theater in the past when I was doing theater in Mexico City, I always feel like what I'm a part of, the projects that I'm a part of are really special, but they rarely get received that way. And it's just, you can't really control how the world receives a show or a project. And so this is the first time where I feel like the love that we're giving is being given back to us.
Mm.
Like the audiences every night are just like, they just give us life. They're so into the show and they're so loud and so rowdy. And it's just the perfect show for that.
Yeah.
You know, not every
Yeah.
show, it's not appropriate for all shows on Broadway, but we love it. And we get that. And so it just feels, I feel very blessed.
It's one of my favorite shows of all time, and personal connection, because like Marla Mindelle is one of my oldest friends in New York City, and so I've heard her side of it from the beginning of when it was first conceived and then done in dinner theater in LA, and like I've seen it multiple times in all its incarnations, and to see it now on stage with on the set of The Voice, if you know, you know, like it's just done so well. And we're gonna come back to Titanique because I have so many questions about that. But I want to go back to little Michelle. Michelle.
You know what's funny? I feel like Michelle and Melissa are not similar names, but for some reason, I get called Michelle all the time. And my first ever job in the United States was Vida. And my co-star, so the two leads of the show were me and Michelle Prada. And so I would get called Michelle all the time. She would get called Melissa all the time. But I just assumed that it was because they would interchange us. And then
Like in a racist way.
No, not in a racist way, just in like the two leads and like,
Oh, sure.
you know,
Okay.
Michelle, Melissa, you know, like that.
Okay.
But I didn't realize that like it's names that people confuse in the US consistently. I've been called Michelle a lot by like random people. I don't know why that is. Anyway, I love the name Michelle. It's beautiful. My character's name on Copenhagen Test is Michelle. So it's all good.
I was going to edit that out, but now I got to keep that in.
Yeah.
I was thinking in my head, Mexico City, and when you speak, when you think about what you're about to say, do you picture it in your head? Because I do. I picture the sentences in my head of what I'm about to say.
No, I don't. I don't really think about what comes out of my mouth, and that's one of my biggest fatal flaws.
Well, that's why you're not here alone today, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was picturing the X sound of Mexico City, like that X sound, and then for some reason in my head that translated to Michelle. So I am sorry to all the Melissas and the Michelles out there.
No.
I know your name. So little Melissa in Mexico City.
Yeah.
You said Broadway was always your dream, and you said something a second ago. They were like, now you're finally like feeling like you're finding the success that you've always wanted. But the hell, you've got this trail of successful movies and TV shows and telenovelas, everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm very proud of everything that I've done. And I know that I've been doing good work my whole career. But sometimes I just, you have expectations. And expectations, like my mom says, are a recipe for heartbreak because you should never have expectations about what you think something is going to do for you or your career or provide or whatever. And so I've just consistently been like dreaming of like the big break that like catapults you and like, like something super zeitgeisty that like just opens all the doors for you and that you can then, pick and choose and like finance things because your name has value. Like that has never really happened for me. I've just had to consistently been just like going step by step, like a lot of people in the industry have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean is like, I know I've been doing great work. I'm very proud of every single thing that I've done because I'm very intentional of like projects that I decide to go into. But this specifically, Titanique, just feels like, we feel the love from the audiences every night. And it's really nice. It's really nice to have packed houses every night and to get the cheers from the audience. Like Jim Parsons says this really well. He, and Jim Parsons has,
never heard of him.
He's like, an icon of television and he has Tonys and Emmys and like, all of the things. And he's done a lot of stuff. And he says he's never felt what he feels in Titanique.
Huh.
He's like the wall of sound that we get from the applause that is automatic. Like as soon like we sing the last note of the show and we get hit. It feels like we're getting hit by a truck of applause.
Yeah.
And it's really special. it's something that I've never experienced it before, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of this.
It was
show.
really cool the other day. What was it, last week? When I caught the heart of the ocean, you remember?
Oh yes, yes, you did. Yeah,
I was there in the front row center. It was the only seat left, and I was like, "Well, I guess I'll get these."
Yeah.
Because I was bringing my friend who had not seen Broadway in forever, and he said it was his favorite show he's seen in ever times. But being on the front row, I got to hear like what was coming up behind, and just experiencing that. I can't imagine like for you that serotonin, dopamine release, or whatever it is, of just getting that validation of as Marla has told me, it's the biggest gay Super Bowl party you could have 8 times a week.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy that. But okay, so Mexico City, what made you want to start performing in the first place? What was the first thing you were doing?
School. I remember I was a sports kid. I always played sports growing up, and I was very good at sports, and I just thought that was going to be like my lane. I didn't feel very artistic. I just felt very physically capable, So I have like an ease of like sports. I can just like
You're coordinated.
be good at, I'm coordinated. Yeah. Which is why I can dance, I feel like, because it's kind of like the same thing. But I always played basketball, but I would go and see the plays and the musicals that would be put up by my school with like my classmates and like kids younger, older. And I would always just wish that I was up there because I just thought it was the coolest thing, but I was too shy. And I would, weirdly become like a fan of my classmates.
Yeah.
Like I would then think that they were so much cooler because they're like superstars. They were on stage and they were performing, and like that, like that to me was the coolest thing. So that began like planted the seed of curiosity for me, but it wasn't until 8th grade. So I was like 13, 14 when I decided they were gonna do Wizard of Oz as the school musical, like the spring musical. And I was like, I want to go audition, so I convinced my whole basketball team that we should all go and audition together
Really?
as like, just for fun, let's just all go. And they were all like, yeah, whatever, Melissa, like, sure. And I remember singing Happy Birthday for my audition song because I literally didn't know what to sing. And the music teacher, which was the, like the music director of the show, was like, if you don't know what to sing, you can sing Happy Birthday. Like that's enough for us to know whether you can like carry a tune or not. So I like sang Happy Birthday, and I got a call back for the role of Dorothy. And I was like, that was like the biggest ego boost that a 13-year-old could get. Like first time auditioning for a show and getting a callback for the lead role. Also, it was like a middle school and high school production.
Ooh.
So I was like one of the youngest, and I was getting called for the lead with like all the older girls, like the high school girls. And I was like, oh yeah. And then of course I didn't get it. They gave it to like a senior. And I got cast as, get ready, tree number 3. That was my first ever role in a musical.
Scandal.
Tree number 3. I had one line in the whole show.
Is it the throwing the apple tree?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was, how do you like them apples? That was my line. But I got to be a part of the process of like rehearsal. Like you would stay after school, you would rehearse for months and months for like 3 shows, right? And I fell in love. I fell in love with theater. I fell in love with theater people. I felt like I found my group, and that was it for me. After that, it was just like I was looking for opportunities. I was going on like summer camps to study for acting. I was auditioning for every single show. I was looking for opportunities like in Monterrey, like outside of school. So I just became like, oh, that's who I'm meant to be.
Wow. And you didn't need a basketball team at that point.
I didn't.
No.
They also, I don't think any of them got cast in the show. So they were like, all right, we did this for you. And I thank them because I honestly wouldn't have had the guts to go and audition if it hadn't been for all of them with me. Yeah.
Well, so now you said you were shy. I mean, you told the story. You're a shy kid. You needed the support to audition, and then you found your home. You found your people. Like, was it easy for you? Was it natural for you to kind of tap into that sort of like the unspoken intent of looking and feeling, character motivation and all the stuff. Like literally, I was telling you before we started recording that I just finished Keep Breathing on Netflix right before, like this morning. I woke up and I finished the last episode, and the amount of just like quiet sobbing you had to go to and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like that's hard. You can't fake that when you're the only one on screen and you've got extreme close-ups and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So being a shy kid, was it sort of like this was your way to finally be comfortable and tap into that emotion?
Yeah, 100%. I also grew up in a household where, and now it's very different. Now that we're all adults, like me and my sisters, we've all kind of like grown into emotional maturity. But I grew up in a household where we didn't talk about emotions.
Same.
We didn't have a lot of like communication about like how we're feeling. It was more like, how did you do in school? What did you do today? Like things, but it wasn't talking about like feelings. And so I felt like a hard person, and theater really helped me like break that down and become like more affectionate and more like, like with my heart on my sleeve, and it really opened me up in my heart so much. And I think that's why I became like addicted to it, because I was like, I love this. I love being able to feel. I love being able to like use whatever I'm going through, and I still do that. Like whatever is going on in my life, I just like put it into the work, and it's so cathartic. It's like so therapeutic. And in Keep Breathing, which is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Not had to do, I wanted to do it. But it was one of the hardest jobs because I'm alone a lot of the time. And it's very introspective, and it's a very emotional show. It was exhausting every day.
Where'd you film it, by the way?
In Vancouver.
It's so beautiful.
And
so beautiful up there.
and what's up where they ski, and now I'm blanking. They had the Olympics there.
Oh,
Vancouver
Whistler?
and
No.
Whistler, yes.
Yeah.
Vancouver and Whistler. Oh, and the most gorgeous, like just being out in nature. But I was suffering the entire time. So it was like a juxtaposition of like, oh my God, I'm so happy I'm here. It was during COVID. So I was like, we could shoot this. It's all outdoors.
Oh yeah, easy to film.
Yeah. And I'm so happy to be back at work and doing this incredible show. But then I'm like crying and screaming and suffering and like panting and running the entire time, which was exhausting, but also like one of the most rewarding. I got to know myself a lot during that show. Yeah.
Which is like through the script or through the actual, like you, Melissa, being there in
through
nature?
Through the script and through knowing, really finding what I need as an actor, what I don't, what I'm capable of. And in the script, the character is working through father and mother issues. And we all are. And so it was very cathartic for me too. It was very, again, it was like therapy, because what the character is going through, I was like, oh my God, I'm the same. And so that also helped. That's always like my way into the character. Like, how are we similar? And then I branch out.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the episode. Did you talk to your parents about it? Have you been like, here's what I learned about me, about you?
No. No, because I don't think it's fair, Like, I think I have this like theory that you can have the superstar greatest parents in the world, or the worst, and all of your issues are still going to stem from your parents.
Yes, I know.
And that's why I'm like, I don't know if I'm having kids. I don't know what, because I'm like, you're gonna mess up your kids, even though you have the best intentions. Even if you're trying to fix all of the things that your parents did wrong with you, your kid is a whole different being that needs different things, and it's just a learning curve. So no matter what, all of my issues come from my parents.
Both good and bad.
Both good and bad, yeah.
And I see that now. Like I'm 45. The 40s statistically, all these things around. Maybe it's just my algorithm targeting me now. But the 40s are the hardest generation statistically, because most people have the aging parents and are taking care of the growing up kids. So we're the sandwich generation, stuck in the middle of like taking care of both ends. And I feel that 100%. And
Yeah.
but it's just interesting because I'm looking at my relationship with my parents and trying to purposely not do some of that with my kids, and then purposely do some of that with my kids, and I'm messing everything up as I go.
But the thing is that you don't know
Right.
what your kid actually needs until
Right.
later in life, when they're like, by the way, you did this, and you're like, but I thought that's what that would be good, and your kid is like, no, actually I hated it. And it's like the beautiful complexity of being human.
Yeah. And I think, though, big picture, one of the biggest things that I've learned after now almost 500 episodes of this podcast is that the people like yourself who are sitting here across from me, who are in it for the long haul and who love it, who have had parents who just support what they love to do, what their kids love to do.
Yeah.
So you don't have parents that, like, even if they're like, all right, you should go get a law degree as a backup, but we're still going to support you. At least that support was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that goes a really long way to just building your own confidence.
100%. I was very blessed that I grew up with a mother that I always saw as like a badass, because she was, full-time mom, super present mother. She was like at every school function, every awards ceremony, every dance recital, every piano recital, every voice recital, every basketball game, every ice skating competition for my sisters, everything that we ever did, she was always there. I don't remember her ever missing anything. And she worked full time. And she was the primary breadwinner of my household.
Whoa.
So I grew up with that example.
That is hard.
That's hard. And I still don't know how she did it. And a lot of people, like even my cousins, will be like, how did she do it? She's like the ultimate role model. And I'm not saying that she's perfect, but she's like pretty damn close to being like a perfect mother. And obviously, like, I'm the oldest of 4 sisters. I have 3 younger sisters. And somehow we all had different mothers, like because we all have different like glasses.
Yeah.
And
your perception of your
the perception is so different. And it's very interesting.
You've talked to your sisters about this?
Yeah. Because like we all have like different views on like certain moments in time, which is super interesting. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the complexity of like kids and like how they view things. But anyway, I always had a very supportive mom who I saw was very capable. And so that inherently made me think that I was capable of doing a lot. And she always made sure to tell me that I was capable of doing whatever I wanted as long as I worked hard for it. And she always, like, if I was like, oh, I want to try, karate lessons, she'd go out and look for a karate lesson. If I was like, oh, I really want to, try and do this summer camp for this, she'd go out and, it was always like, we were her priority. We were her investment. And I'm so grateful because I got to try all of the things that I wanted. And that's how I found what I loved to do. And she did that with all of us. And to her own sacrifice a lot of times, we came first. And a lot of times people would criticize her a lot because they'd be like, why are you like all over the place with your kids? Like, why are they always doing all of these things? And she was just like, well, that's why I work. I want to be able to give them experiences and skills so that they can find what they love to do. And so I know I wouldn't be here without my mom or her mom, because her mom was also like that. My grandma is also a big reason that I am where I am today.
That's beautiful. And I feel bad that she was getting criticized for that, because
it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like, you should support your kids. You should, do what they want to do within limits of, like.
Well, a lot of times I think she'd be in debt. She'd be like, I need, can I borrow for this and this and that? And I think that's why she would get criticized, because people would be like, stop spending money on your kids that you don't have. But she was like, I want to give them everything that they want.
Good for her and good for you. And yeah, like your basketball team and your mom. That's why you're here today.
Yeah.
So then what was like one of the big breaks? We'll say big breaks because you said, I was just thinking when you said that, like, what was it? McConaughey, Almost Famous. That was his big break, right?
I don't know. Is it?
Was it? Was it like, all right, all right, all right? Yeah, right. Like that movie was like, oh, all of a sudden he's on the map now.
Great.
But before that, like in your experience too, there are multiple big breaks.
Oh, yeah.
There's little big breaks
Yeah.
that get you to your big break, but then everyone doesn't realize that you've had a whole career and had
Right.
all these little stair-step
Yeah.
moments beforehand
Yeah.
where you've built your resume or you've met the one person who's going to introduce you to the next person that's going to get you that break.
Yeah.
So, when you started performing and you're doing all this stuff and you're doing the camps, like when did it start to accelerate? Yesterday?
Yeah. I've never, it has never felt accelerated.
Really?
It's always felt
Been your normal?
step by step. Yeah. I've never had a job where things like significantly change. Never. It's always been kind of like a natural progression of like getting a little bit more exposure or things with a little bit more recognizability.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never, like you said, I feel like I've had like several big breaks, but they feel big in the moment because they're like a step up.
Yeah.
It feels like on the ladder. But I haven't had a break that feels like, oh, this is the thing. You know what I mean? I feel like In the Heights felt like it was going to be that, but then because of the pandemic,
Right.
it was just like bad timing. We were like one of the first movies in theaters during the pandemic. No one wanted to go see it.
Mhm.
Same day release on HBO Max, which is
Right.
never good.
Right.
So that was what in the moment I felt like, oh, this is it. This is the movie that is going to open doors for me. And it does, like every job does open doors is the thing. Like every single thing that I've done has led me to be able to get the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they don't, but you're talking about like a break, like, like Stranger Things kids got a break, or like the Heated Rivalry boys got a break, like, or Bridgerton, like those like huge
Cult hits.
like global
Global moments. I know exactly what you're saying because I actually just I was on Reddit the other day and somebody asked randomly like, what celebrity, this is a little morbid, what celebrity needs to die to have the next global coming together like when Michael Jackson died? And
oh wow.
And the responses were all like, it's never going to happen again because now within the last like 5-6 years, basically since the pandemic and the advent of TikTok and Instagram and whatnot, like everyone's now in their own little microsphere.
Yeah.
And everyone can find exactly what they want. And they're targeted by all of these systems to keep them engaged without leaving.
Yeah.
And so now, Stranger Things somehow broke through internationally. So like those moments of overnight international success are becoming harder and harder and harder to make.
Yeah.
And now with the tools we've got, everyone can make music, everyone can make a movie, but to make it good and to make it interesting and to make it universally desired, I don't know what that recipe is anymore.
And I don't think there is one, is the thing. It's just kind of a strike of luck, or what do you call it?
When lightning strikes.
A lightning strike, and there are no rules for it. It just is, and I think nowadays it is becoming viral.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's when something becomes viral that everybody kind of wants to hop on the train.
Be like them. The new role model.
And then that becomes like a moment, but it's a moment is the thing. It's a moment nowadays. It doesn't last. And I talk about this a lot, that it feels like before studios created movie stars and you had these like movie stars that were internationally recognized and that people were going to show up to theaters to watch. And I feel like that's so rare nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why it is. Maybe it's the accessibility. Maybe it's because everyone has a phone in their hands, and so you can literally just go and like be on that person's Instagram. There's no mystery anymore. Whereas before you had to like, you know, go find them if you were in the city, or wait for a magazine to like pop up and tell you what they were doing. Like we didn't have that access, and that made it like feel more rare and more desirable. But I also think that before, studios were incubating talent and then putting it out in the world.
Theater used to do that too.
Yeah. And now they just want people that are already famous to come in, and they don't want to do any of the work.
Because advertising is impossible.
Right.
You need, as a producer, you need famous people to bring their fans so that your show gets an automatic free advertising.
Right. But that's lazy.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, it is.
That's laziness.
It is. And because of, I've produced too. So like this is a sore spot for me. It's like the cost of putting theater up in New York specifically
Right.
is so like astronomically much more expensive. The same show, the same play can go into New York for 6 or 7 million as West End £1 million. Like it's that stark of a difference.
Right.
And so you have to have people that are going to come in because you can't spend enough money on marketing.
Right.
Otherwise, you're never going to get your show to Broadway.
Right.
And it's really shitty. So something has to change.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I want to change it, and I don't know what it is.
Well, I think Titanique is a good example of how we're trying
good
to
throwback.
kind of, you know, we're trying to kind of break with the way that theater is produced on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm not mistaken, like I think our budget is something like 8 million.
Yeah, it's not big.
And the next cheapest show on Broadway is something like 28 million.
Mm-hmm. For a musical? Yeah.
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 And so I don't know, like I think our show looks fantastic, sounds fantastic. And like, why are you spending that much money?
Yeah. Well, it's lights and automation and all it's so many things. And you need a show that is going to attract big names that don't demand big salaries. Because that's why Sunset Boulevard couldn't break even because Nicole Scherzinger's salary was astronomical.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, Titanic, let's talk about the fun stuff. How did you get connected to that in the first place? Because you haven't been on stage in quite a while.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah.
The last time I was on stage was in Mexico City. I was doing Young Frankenstein in 2016. And I had been wanting to go back on stage for a while, and but you know, I was doing TV shows and I was doing movies. And so obviously agents and agencies and managers would rather you go make money in those places than get stuck in a run for theater where you're making no money.
Yeah. Comparatively, yeah.
And so I think no one ever took me seriously when I kept saying like I want to do Broadway. Also, let's be real, like the theater scene is small. Like the theater world is small, and it's like a little mafia where the same people are working over and over, and to like crack in is hard. Like I remember, because I would be constantly like looking like what's coming, what new musicals are coming that I could like go in, and by the time that they announced a new musical, it's already cast.
Yeah.
I was always too late, and I was like, I don't even have the knowledge beforehand to like go and audition when they need the people. And so it was very frustrating for many years. And then I switched agencies, thank God. And I have this now amazing theater agent at IAG, Debbie, and I spoke to her at the end of last year, and I was like, I really want to do theater. I really feel like I need to do theater because theater is my home. It's like my first love, and it always, when I was doing theater, I was happy. And I've been feeling in the last few years like not so happy in doing the work that I love. And I'm like, okay, I need to go and refuel and recharge and like reset. And so we were talking about a play, like a straight play, but I was like, I really want to do a musical. Like I've always imagined and dreamed of my Broadway debut to be a musical, even though I would love it if it was anything. Like I just want to be on Broadway, but like I'm a musical theater kid at heart. So I would love it if it was a musical. And I told her like The Princess Bride. I heard that there's a Princess Bride like show in development. I love that movie. Like, can you call the producers and see if they're gonna audition? She was like, let me call them. She was like, well, they already have a cast that they've been working with for the workshops and stuff. And I was like, okay, well. And she was like, but do you know Titanique? And I was like, yes, I know that show. I've seen it twice because I saw it off Broadway and I saw it in Toronto when I was shooting. And she was like, well, it's transferring to Broadway. And I was like, shut up. I hadn't heard of that. And so she was like, yeah, and they're auditioning the role of Rose at the moment. Like, would you be interested in going in and auditioning? And I was like, oh my God. Because I saw the show, loved it, but I didn't see myself in it.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't, it wasn't like a thought that crossed my mind. So I was like, okay, let me go back to watching it. Do I see myself in it? Can I even sing the songs? You know, I don't want to make a fool of myself if I go and audition and I can't even reach the notes because Celine Dion songs are not easy to sing. So I told her like, don't tell them that I can audition yet. Let me go and do like a night of research and like go and Google everything that I can about the show, see what songs Rose has to sing. And so I did. I like sang them and I was like, I think I can do this. Like, I think if I practice enough, I can at least do a decent job at the audition. And I got the materials. I started like learning them, but they had given me a Zoom audition with the team. And I was like, I hate Zoom auditions. They're just like,
So you're out in LA, right?
I live in Austin. So I was in
Really?
Austin. Yeah, I was in Austin and I everything is on Zoom now. So like, you know, but I was like, damn, like for theater, a Zoom audition, that just feels wrong. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to properly show them what I can do through like a little screen.
Yeah.
Or if the sound is going to be good, you know, like, so I was like, I was like, are they flying people out? Like, I would rather do it in person. And she was like, no, there's no budget for that. They're not flying people. It'll just be Zoom. So I was like, damn. But in the back of my head, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel right. And then luckily I was in the process of callbacks for a movie, for like an independent movie. And they wanted to fly me out to LA to do a chemistry read with Sam Rockwell. And I was like, okay, cool.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, never. He's honestly incredible. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll go and do that, and then I'll do my Zoom from LA. And then they call me and they're like, all right, they're gonna fly you to LA. The director's going to be there, but Sam Rockwell is not going to be there in person. He'll be on Zoom because he's going to be in New York.
How do you do a chemistry read over Zoom?
Exactly. But we do them all the time is the thing.
What?
It's so stupid. I know, but we do. But anyway, and I was like, oh man. And then it like the light bulb hit and I was like, wait, I'll go to New York. I'll do the chemistry read with Sam there and I'll do the in person for Titanique. And they were like, well, they're not going to fly you to New York because they want to fly you to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the director is. But I was like, it makes no sense. I'd rather be in the room with Sam Rockwell if we need to do chemistry and be in the room for Titanique. So I was like, I'll use my miles. I'll stay with my sisters. They don't need to pay for this, but I want to do this. So I flew to New York, literally landed like 10 a.m., went to my sisters, did a vocal warm up, was at my audition at Ripley Greer, I believe, or Open Jar, one of those. At like 1, I did my Titanique session with, you know, Connie, Marla, Ty, casting directors from Telsey, Jeff Coe, our musical director, and I had like the best time. And after that, I went like downtown to read with Sam Rockwell, and the whole way there, I was like, I can't do both. These go at the same time. So I'm only going to be able to do either the movie or Titanique. And I was like, my heart wants what it wants.
Your heart will
but
go
anyway,
on.
But I was like, I'm not going to say no to meeting Sam Rockwell, right?
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the episode.
So I go and I show up and the casting director is like, oh, I heard you're coming from another audition for a musical. And I was like, yeah. She's like, you can't do both, you know? And I was like, yeah, but I don't have either. So that's why I'm here, you know? Like I'm trying to get at least one. And I did this incredible session with Sam Rockwell and I left and then I waited and then I got Titanique like a few days later. And I was like, okay, it's done. The universe has decided. And I was so happy. And that's like the really long-winded story of how I'm here.
Well, yeah, it sounds like the entire cast is very, very close. And the rehearsals, of course, are a lot of fun. But I remember when you came into the studio here for Lenady Hanau's podcast, you said that she brought up that Connie calls you chancla.
Yeah.
And you didn't know why.
Yeah.
So I asked him.
Oh my God.
And here's what he said.
What I am that. Yeah. I am the little chancla. And now Marla calls me chancla too now. I am like the chancla.
Do you have a nickname for them?
I don't. No, I don't.
You should.
Well, I call Marla Marlita and Connie just Connie or idiot.
Idiot. Yeah, definitely idiot. No, two of the nicest people.
Oh, yeah.
I've only met Ty a handful of times too, but yeah, Marla and Connie, like, again, two of the nicest people that I've ever worked with. And I love that Titanique was written to make fun of musical theater.
Right.
Did they tell you this?
No, I didn't know
Oh,
that.
yeah, because Marla, she can tell you the story. She moved to LA to get out of musical theater and be a writer. She hates musical theater. At least she did.
Lol.
Lol, yes. and so she wrote this to make fun of the form.
Oh my God.
And then, she and Connie and Ty wrote this. And then now it's turned into what it is. But the whole thing is, I tell her all the time, like, she's found this massive success in this medium, in this show that was just written as a joke.
Yeah.
And it is so good
It's so good.
And you hear this all the time, is that, like, I've heard stories of the big break that some people have gotten have been when they've gone into an audition when they just don't care. They're like, this is it. This is my last one. I can't make it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm just going to go in and say F it. I'm like, whatever. And then that's the one because they are in it with no nerves, without any stress.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the one they get.
Right.
And I feel like this is one of those things where, she and the team wrote this because they're like, you know what? We don't care.
Yeah.
Let's just have fun.
Yeah.
And make each other laugh. We're not trying to make something that's going to win a Pulitzer Prize. We're going to make something that's going to make each other laugh.
But they stuck with it.
Oh, yeah.
They stuck with it and they continue to grow it and hone it. And that's why it's a Broadway show now.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a Broadway show.
Oh, it deserves to be where it is.
Yeah. So, they're geniuses. I think it's a deceiving show because
it's hard.
It's hard. It's like what we're doing on stage is hard. It's hard vocally. It's also like the humor and the rhythm of it is very precise. And even though it's like every other line is a joke and you think like, oh, like that's a funny like poop joke or whatever. The genius of like the nuances and the humor and the jokes and the callbacks and the Easter eggs, like, and to make it work, because it's not only a show that you laugh with and have a good time for 2 hours, but you're also like emotional at points. It's got like serious moments. It's got like the vocals that will like shake you to your core. And it's, in the end, it's a love letter to everything, to Celine Dion. It's a love letter to theater. It's a love letter to pop culture. It's a love letter to the gay community. It's, it's like everything is about love. It's even the people that we're making fun of, we're like fans of, you know?
Yeah.
Like Patti LuPone is in our show every night.
And Nicole
Scherzinger. And like, we love them, none of it is meant with like any ill intent. It's all with love. And Ty was very, very, measured in everything. So to make sure that comes across. So yeah, I just, it's amazing. The story of this show, like where it came from, how it was born, all the iterations that it's gone through, it's such a like an inspirational story for any creator out there that is like thinking of like starting to write their own stuff.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it started in a basement, or not even, probably like in a room.
It was a dinner theater.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's at the St. James Theater, and with the same people, like literally the same costume designer, the same production designer, same sound designer. Like it's all people that have come up together and are now sharing in the joy and the triumph of getting to Broadway, but they've stuck with each other. It's like a beautiful family. And I think that's why it feels so special. And Jim and Deborah and I, who are the new ones that came on for the Broadway transfer, because everybody else in the company had already done the show at one point or another on off Broadway, and we're the newbies. We feel like we've come into a family, like a fully formed family, and we've been like welcomed with open arms, and it genuinely feels really special. Like, and I feel like this is the best job I've ever had. And Deborah feels that way, and Jim feels that way. So it definitely is like a lightning in a bottle that we feel like we've.
For Jim to say that, too,
I know.
I mean, that's
right.
That's and Deborah, yeah, I mean, all of you've
Yeah.
had such amazing careers and experiences so far. To be all together,
Yeah.
and put that together. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I don't know how you keep it together on stage anyway, because like
Listen.
you and Jim alone,
Yeah.
you Rose and her mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like how do you work through that? I mean, being the straight character,
Yeah.
right? Like you're not the one out there being the ridiculous one, but you
No.
still get tons of laughs.
Yeah. I am like the emotional through line of the show. So I kind of have to. Rose is a little bit more grounded than everyone else, so that everyone else can be a fool around her, and I love being able to do that. I feel like I'm an audience member too, like they're all performing for me. And now I've gotten good at keeping it together. In the beginning, it was hard because they would change a little thing and it would make me lose my mind. Still to this day, like I sometimes have a hard time looking at Jim or at John or at Connie in the eye, because I just am going to break. And I don't want to, even though it's sometimes funnier. I want to keep it together so that, we're telling the story, it's not just a sketch. It's a true story. Not a true story. Well, Celine's version, but like it's the tragic story, the love story that we're trying to tell. And by the end, we want it to feel hopeful.
Mhm.
That's why like the last song, some of the last words that we sing are believe that it's possible, believe that a better world is possible. That's like the message I think that we want people to leave the theater with.
And all that jazz.
And all that jazz, of
Yes.
course.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how. Again, I don't know how you keep it together. I think it's got to be one of the hardest jobs anybody's got to have, because the energy of everyone on that stage is intense. And I am just like, I enjoy watching everybody. And Leighton came over from the
Yes.
Iceberg Bitch
Yes.
came over from West End.
Yes.
Like Leighton is incredible and an amazing addition.
Leighton was so good in the West End that we had to have him for Broadway.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Like those legs, though. I'm just staring at his
Oh
legs.
my God, yes. Oh no. He's the most charming, quick-witted human being I've ever met. Like it's insane. Like the things that come out of his mouth. Every night he makes me laugh at the end of the lip sync. He always like comes up with something, and it's his facial expressions and the way that he moves his mouth. And I think it's become like a thing where he's trying to make me break, because I'm sitting in the stairs as part of the audience at that moment. And I'm literally just thinking, what are you going to do today? And the good thing is that I'm turned away from the audience, so I can
So
laugh.
when he comes out, he's like, "But you did, though.
Yeah.
That's what you did, girl.
Yeah.
No, but that's what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that moment. All right. So, man, I didn't get to any of my questions. Whatever. We just
Lol.
chatted. That's
Yeah.
cool. Lol. We're going to play Plot in 60 Seconds now to wind down.
Hmm.
I have 17 popular musicals on my screen here.
Okay.
You can't see them.
Okay.
Give me a number 1 through 17. I'm going to tell you what you chose off my list, and then you give me that plot to the musical you chose in 60 seconds or less.
Oh my God, I hope I know these.
You can make it up if you don't. That's the
Okay,
fun
all right.
part.
13.
13. Oh, this will be fun. Cats, go.
60 seconds remaining.
Oh man. So Cats is a show about cats. About humans pretending to be cats. And there really is no plot. It's just basically, it's like going to a dog show, but it's a cat show. And you literally they tell you, this is this kind of cat. And they sing and dance. And they all look amazing and are doing incredible acrobatics and singing beautifully. But I've never really fully known what that show is about. And I think
30
now
seconds
I
remaining.
have to go and see Cats the Jellicle Ball because this is the best version of it I've heard. And the only way that Cats make sense. So I'm thinking that this one has a story. And I hope that that's true. But I genuinely think it's
15
just a
seconds
show
remaining.
about furries.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, yes,
Great.
and my friend Mike Abrams runs the Wrong Cat Died podcast. His whole thesis is Grisabella was the wrong Jellicle choice, the wrong cat to die.
Oh.
Because he has been presenting this for years, how now Jellicle Ball is presenting this as a Fear Factor meets American Idol death competition.
Oh, that's what it is.
So it's competing to have old Deuteronomy, the leader, choose you to be the one to be reborn and start over again in life, a new life.
Oh.
Because you have 9 lives. They're cats.
Mm.
So you get to choose. And Grisabella comes in like, oh, pick me. I have the worst
But
life.
what are the stakes if everybody has 9 lives? Then like, who cares? If they're all gonna be reborn and they're all gonna have 9 chances.
Listen, I didn't say
know
the
what I
plot
mean?
didn't
Yeah.
have holes in it. If there was a plot.
So when I was like 10 years old, I would go to a friend's house and we would always watch Cats. It was the filmed stage
Like, what was
version.
it, the
You
89
remember?
version?
I don't even
Yeah,
know, but
yeah.
I would love watching it just because I think it's beautiful to see people pretending to be cats. Like I just thought that it was so cool, and weird, but cool. But I never really understood what it was about, and I
Same.
still don't.
Same.
So I think I need to go see Jellicle Ball.
Jellicle Ball presents it as a ballroom competition.
Cool.
A
Love
ballroom
that.
dancing competition. So there's different houses and everyone is dancing as a representative of their house. But in Jellicle Ball, they change no music. Not a single note is changed.
I love that.
And it's just staged in a different way. And I think that is brilliant.
Do they change? Are there words spoken?
They add some, in the normal show, no. But they add a few words in between the songs now, but there's no script. I mean, there is a
Oh,
script now, but like it's an opera, just like Hamilton's an opera.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
there you go.
Well, I can't wait. I've just heard the most incredible things.
You should see it. You
Yeah.
see it. Okay. So 3 closing questions I ask everyone. First one simply is what motivates you?
What motivates me? I think I have like an inner hunger that like motivates me. Like I want to continue to create. I want to continue to evolve, to become better as an artist, to try to be challenged and to try different things. Yeah, and obviously like my family and my husband motivate me when I'm like down in the dumps. They're the ones that are like, remember when you said this, or remember when you would say this, or remember when you were little and you were, so sure of like all the things that you were gonna do. And so they kind of like lift me up when I need it.
That's a good reminder. That's a good cheering squad.
Oh yeah.
All right. What advice would you give to your younger self and younger people listening now, starting out down a similar path?
To my younger self, I feel like I would just tell her because I feel like when we're younger, at least for me, when you're young, you feel more powerful. And then you kind of start losing that power when you come out into the world and like you get beat up by life and like by other people. So I would just kind of tell her to always remember that ball of fire and power that she has in her and to never let anyone in to dim that. That I think is like my biggest regret of like growing up, allowing so much like noise in that kind of made me doubt myself. And I've had to like climb out of that hole that I kind of dug for myself because really I had like my tarot card reader tell me once.
You do tarot card
Oh,
reading?
100%. Yeah. Well, I'm Mexican. Like, we do all the witchy things. But I had my tarot card reader once tell me, like, what are you doing? You're literally digging a hole for yourself for no reason. And I was like, oh my God. Like, seeing that image in my head, I was like, you're right. Like, I'm like spiraling by myself. And a lot of my spiraling comes from scrolling.
I was literally about to ask if the more exposure famous there is, the more negative feedback there is that you have to like dodge.
Yes, that is true. I think that what comes with becoming more well-known is more love from more people, but that also means more trolls and more haters.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like all goes together. And if you allow yourself to get hooked on like the negativity, that can really like mess with your head.
I am such the same way.
Yeah.
And I have no statistical basis behind this, but I've always told myself that for every one person who says something negative, there's 10 think positively and just don't tell you, because why would they reach out to tell you like, hey, great job. Cool.
Haters are always louder.
Yeah. Bad news travels faster than good.
Yeah. And a lot of times I've found that it's just people that want attention.
Yes.
And they think, and it's true, because if you think about like statistically, online, people will engage with the negativity more than with the positivity. Just statistically. Not everyone, but like a clapback.
Yeah.
Or people will want to fight and defend more than be like, oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has like armed like trolls and even like fans to think like, oh, the way that I'm going to get them to engage with me and give me attention is if I say something negative.
Right.
So you can't really
it's training. It's
Yeah.
training a terrible algorithm. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. If you can only see one show for the rest of your life, but you can see it as many times as you want, what would you see?
A musical.
Any show.
What do you mean?
Any show.
Like any show, like a TV show?
Your interpretation. Someone has told me The Office.
Okay.
Not to cloud your judgment, but
If I could only see one show for the rest of my life, oh my God. I feel like it would have to be probably a show that has like so many seasons so that I have more material. I like New Girl. I like New Girl a lot because it makes me laugh a lot. But I think also probably one of my favorite shows is Rent. And I think that was probably my most played CD back in the day when we had CDs.
that is my answer to that question.
Really?
Yeah.
Rent?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
because that's the show that showed me that there's music in musical theater that I can really dig myself into. And yeah, it was just great. It came at a time in my life, like I was in high school.
Yeah.
It came at a time in my life when I needed it.
Yeah.
And so it was just there. It was perfect. So anyway, yeah, that's my answer.
Well, there you go. That's my answer too.
Great. All right. So where can we find you online and connect with you and reach out and say only nice things on social media?
Oh God. You can find me on Instagram. That's it. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on X. I'm not on anything. Just Instagram, Melissa Barrera M. And just come to the St. James Theater to see Titanique.
Please go
We're
see
here
it.
until September 20th.
And if you sit front row center in the left of the two center seats, you get to catch the heart of the
No,
ocean.
not always.
No,
She
no.
picks.
Oh, does she?
picks from the two center seats.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she'll. I don't know what it is, what makes her pick the person, but yeah, if you sit front row center, you might the heart of the ocean at the end.
It was sturdier than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
You can get me online on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, I'm on Facebook. I don't know. I'm out there, right? You got to have a brand presence. Leave a reading review. Spread the word. Tell everyone you just listened to this amazing episode. Thanks to WelcomeToTimesSquare.com for the lovely use of this studio. Thanks to Jukebox the Ghost for the intro and outro music we're listening to now. And Melissa, thank you so much. This has been so much fun.
This was fun. Thank you so much for the chat.
Take a deep breath, make the world a little colorful.